We're on this computer. Good. So we're recording and we're going to start with verbal communication. And then, as I said, we'll go through the midterm things that you see there. All right. So let's go to, boop. And my computer doesn't want to cooperate there. Awesome. All right. I'm just going to give you my screen so you can see my full screen. And then we'll look at verbal messages. Oops, let me hit one more button. There we go. Okay, so you should see my full screen now. Everyone good? Thumbs up? Awesome, thank you. The nods help, they really do. All right, so this week we're in chapter 4. We're talking about verbal messages. I know I've gone over this a couple times already, where chapters 1, 2, and 3 really have to do a lot with our individual selves and our cultures and our motivations. And now chapter 4, 5, and 6 are really going to get into some of the technical stuff when you talk about communications. They're going to get into, essentially how we communicate. So verbal is this week, listening is this next week, and then nonverbal is in 2 weeks with chapter 6. All right. So let's get into verbal. Language, what do you think? Where does it come from? Any thoughts on that? No one wants to guess.
It comes from a lot of places. Your language could be, if you're upset, your language could be different. If you're happy, your language could be different. If you're sad or going through some types, whatever. The language is totally different. It all depends on your mood, you would say, or what's going on with you at that person at that time. Mm-hmm. So the language could be, it varies.
Absolutely. It's contextual. And those are the words that we're going to throw out a million times throughout the entire semester. We've already said that. We're going to be talking about, hold on a second. We're going to be talking about culture, right? We're going to be talking about context. Those are huge pieces of it. Any other thoughts about where language comes from?
Cavemen.
Cavemen. I love that. But you know what, Amber, you're absolutely right. We don't know where it came from. It's just one of those things. It's always been there. It's always governed us. And there's different languages and different dialects and varieties and inflections, and it's just something that we just cannot track. Absolutely. All right, let's shoot mouse. There we go. Okay. So the key thing that I want you to think about with verbal communication now is, what does it look like? When you think verbal communication, what does it look like?
Like someone expressing their feelings.
Okay.
Words.
I heard someone.
Words.
Words, yeah, absolutely. And that's really the key thing there is words. Okay, verbal communication is going to involve words. This is where it gets tricky though. All right, so using the pen is really not working too well for me. It's a system of agreed upon symbols and sounds. All right, and if you think about it, that makes sense. We have to agree as a community, as a group of people, that when I say the word apple, what that means is always going to be the same thing. Same thing with sounds. Given this word that I wrote right up here, that word says words, and that's something that we've agreed upon. It's something that is consistent with everyone. Okay, so the first thing is it is a system. The second thing is it's symbolic, rule-based, fluid, contextual. There's that word again, and complex. And that's what we're really going to get into tonight, is these 5 principles of verbal language. Okay, so we're going to break down each of those: symbolic, rule-based, fluid, contextual, and complex. All right, let's take a look at, there's one thing I want to go back. I thought I had it there, but I guess I did. There's one thing that I want to just be very, very clear about for you, okay? And that is when we talk about ASL. Anyone know what I'm talking about when I say ASL? Okay.
Sign language.
Sign language, you got it. Talk to me about sign language. Is this verbal or nonverbal?
It can be both, right? Because there are, I mean, I've met deaf people who, when they sign, they not only lip the words, but some of them actually talk pretty well for being a deaf person, because
Sure.
you just expect that they just don't know how to talk because they're deaf.
Sure.
But I've definitely, for the most part, I think from what I can recall, every deaf person that I've met speaks some of what they say. Like sometimes how the best way I can explain it is sometimes when I see Hispanics as well, half their sentence will be English and half their sentence will be Spanish because they don't know. Yes, because they don't know, like, what's the English word for Sprite, or or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Or what's the Spanish? It's just like sorry about the 3-year-old singing in the background.
Oh God, I have one of my own.
You guys can hear her. But like it's kind of like the mix of both. Like
yeah.
Especially when you're driving and you flip somebody off. Like that's
nonverbal.
I also sometimes say it.
Yeah, that's
at the
verbal
same time.
part.
You know what I mean? So like to me it's both.
Okay.
I love you too, baby.
Oh, this is a great commentary, Courtney. It really is. ASL though, I hope you can see what I'm writing on the slides, because if I can see it, it is a verbal language. So where it definitely has aspects that are nonverbal, and it has aspects that are, there's signs. I think about, with my own daughter learning baby sign language a few years ago, and now in nursery school, she's learned sign language a little bit. So I don't know what she was trying to sign to me the other day, but she was like, I want more juice or something like that, right? That's it. Thank you. This is milk. Because it was always milk, more milk. That's what it always was. Even though we are using signs, right? Even though this is more, first of all, it's a system, it's agreed upon. I remembered what more is because Courtney's in my corner doing this for me, right? It means something, but it's also the fact that each sign represents a word. That's what makes it a verbal language. So even though you're not actually looking at letters when you are using ASL, the fact that each sign represents a specific word, like I said, we know this is more, we know mother, father, milk, love, is that love? Yep. Remember, eats. Yep. She speaks now, we don't need it anymore. But because those specific signs represent specific words, it is a verbal language. So that's just something I want you to just keep in the back of your mind. Okay, doesn't have to be sound.
I was gonna say, when you encounter certain people that when they speak sign language, they're so I wouldn't say passionate, but the way that they're speaking, like the expression, I'm trying to find the way to say it, like the way that the expression, what they're trying to express.
They're more expressive.
So, more expressive, like more forceful as to what they're trying to say when it comes to. So I was gonna say it's the same thing.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because
I feel like they have to try harder to get their point across. As weird as that sounds, you know what I mean?
Or at least what we're gonna say.
I was gonna say, as easy as it is for us to say something and verbally say it, and it's with the way that we say it, we express certain type of feelings and emotion. When it comes to sign language, they can't say it to express that feeling and emotion, so they do it aggressively for you to, like, to get it, to like understand that to see that feeling and emotion that they're trying to convey.
Someone unmuted. Who was it? I saw someone. Can you see what I'm writing?
Yeah, language and multimodal. Multimodal?
Yep, multimodal. So exactly what you're explaining right there, Elise, is exactly what's going on. There is that need to communicate. There is that need to really get your message across. So a lot of times people do have a lot of emphasis that they put on it. I would also argue, and this is where the multimodal comes in. Multimodal means styles. There's many styles to it. And what happens is language is most effective when it's or I shouldn't say language, but messages are most effective when they're communicated in several different ways. And so for someone who's speaking ASL, the fact that they're signing, they're going more or saying something or mouthing it at the same point, they're communicating two ways. They're using their hands, but they're also using their mouths. If they have the ability to produce sound, that might also work with them. But the fact that they have now not just one way of saying that word, but 3 different ways of saying that word, it's going to be more effective. And it's going to be multimodal. Another way to think about that is if you think about when I post announcements to you, when I have something really super important that I want to say to you, I'm going to do it a couple different ways. I'm going to put it as an announcement in Blackboard. Then I'm going to fire it off as an email to you in your email. So you see it in those 2 places. Then I text it, right? And then quite often I also talk to you about it face-to-face now. In that case, that's a multimodal message. And I've sent it to you 4 different ways. So it's just going to be rich, and it's something, especially if it's something super duper important, the fact that I've used so many different ways of trying to communicate it to you means it's going to be more effective. And that's exactly the same thing with, people who are speaking sign language. They can get their point across much more easily because they're using those multiple means of communication. Funny story. This past Saturday was commencement at Goodwin, and God, holy crap, it was so hot. It was like 95 degrees. We were in full sunlight and we were all wearing our heavy, graduation robes. Such a nightmare. But one of the students who graduated this weekend is a guy named Jason, who was in my class, I think 5 years ago, and then again 3 years ago. And he is hearing impaired. He has cochlear implants on either side of his head. And he does have the ability to sign and to read lips, which means masks have been a complete nightmare for him. And he does have the ability to vocalize, so he can talk too. This is a guy, and I want you to think about this. He is deaf, right? He has the ability to speak, and he speaks with a Southern accent. So when you think about language and the power of language and accents and ethnicities, here's a guy who is deaf and has spent most of his life without those cochlear implants, but he still speaks from reading lips with a Southern accent, which is just the craziest thing. He grew up in Georgia and then moved up here a couple years ago. All right, let's take a look at symbolic. All right, so first of all, language has meaning, and each word has distinct and understood meanings. That's the first piece that we want to think about when we talk about how language is symbolic. Everything has a meaning, and these meanings are understood. Other people know, what you're saying when you say it. Okay. For example, if I give you this word sick, give me some examples. What does sick mean? I don't like the purple. I'm gonna go with blue. What are some different meanings for sick?
All of us will look at the word sick, meaning you're sick, you're in bed, you're sick. But nowadays,
I took it as that was sick. That was so awesome.
That's what I was about to say. Like nowadays, kids, teenagers, the word sick mean cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What else? So ill.
See it.
Cool.
Disgusting.
Yep.
Like that's sick.
Okay. What else?
So many different ways. Yeah.
I can think of a couple others.
To sick a dog on someone.
Yeah. So attack, absolutely.
It could also mean crazy.
Yep, that's what I was waiting for. Like mentally ill. Oh, they're sick, right? Okay, anything else? Trying to think myself. Ill, cool, disgusting, attack, crazy. That's a pretty good list. But here's the deal, there's different meanings. And what happens is, what we know after a while is, I'm going back to this word context, we know, which version of sick we're talking about based on the context. For example, I've had a sick kid for the past 2 days. Pretty obviously that it's ill, right? But I didn't give you anything else to make you think, oh, maybe it's a cool kid, or maybe she's crazy or something. I didn't give you anything else. I just said, I've had a sick kid for 2 days. But the context there for a lot of us is going to be experiential. So from experience that when I say sick kid, yeah, we went to see the doctor this afternoon. It was a blast. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. So we don't have index cards right now, but I want to try something with you. Okay. I'd like you to throw in the chat for me other words that you can think of, like sick, that have multiple meanings. And let's just come up with some other examples of how they have multiple meanings. So just throw me a couple. Let's see, I don't see the chat. Oh, there they are, cool. Ooh, all right, I've got some really, really good ones here. Ready? Christina, the one you gave us, this word, I have issues with this word, but it's a good one. All right, she said dope. So what are some different meanings for dope?
The illegal kind.
Yeah, so drugs. Okay.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool, nice.
Nice. Cool. And I would take that as two separate meanings in that case, right?
If you put a Y on it, it's a 7 dwarf.
Dwarf, okay. What else?
Like you're stupid and you're dope. Like
Mhm.
dumb.
Absolutely. Anything else? All right. How about oops, hold on. Scrolling here. I saw bad. The computer's not letting me scroll, but I saw bad. What do you have for bad?
Sometimes people say that when they're trying to say somebody looks good.
Yeah, right. Well, Michael Jackson, right?
I was about to say, with this new generation,
Not
bad
good.
means, bad means good.
Behavior bad.
Hold on, I hear her, Arlise.
I said, with this generation, these kids, bad means good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, bad behavior, right? It's a bad kid. What else?
I would say not good.
Mm-hmm. So good or just not good. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. It's time. I would also say spoiled. Because I'm thinking about the gallon of soy milk I poured down the sink this morning. It went bad. All right. How about this one? This is an interesting one. I never thought about this one. Hope. How does that have multiple meanings to it?
And life, hope. Oh my God, so much way to say. Oh, that means so much. I can't even begin to tell to start.
Well,
like,
I put
positive.
I was gonna say, I put it because obviously, like my cancer journey, and it's very, for me, I only speak for myself,
Sure.
but it's very hope based. You know what I mean? I don't.
If I put
I don't know.
faith, does that kind of summarize what you mean? Okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
cool. What else?
Like hoping for the best.
But it could also mean wishing. It could mean.
Yeah.
That's what I
so
was
many-
gonna say. Wishing.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's also a name.
it is.
I wouldn't name my kid dope or bad. Well, maybe if I'm really pissed off, but but yeah, it's also a name too, right? All right, let's see. Chilling is a tough one, Christina. I don't know about that one. Let's go with rich first. I see rich. Come here, pen. So what does rich mean?
Like flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Entitled.
Yeah. Could also be a name. Anything else? Oh, I just got one more word in the chat that we have to do. This one's good. Hot. What do you have for hot, Amber?
Like temperature wise.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or like
Cool.
Looks.
Looks. Yep.
Yeah, sex appeal.
Yeah, absolutely. Boop, 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 EALX. Here we go. I'm a sriracha lover, so I'm going to say spice.
it could also be like popular.
Yep.
Can also be somebody who's being too like he's being hot. You came in hot, like somebody who come I'm not gonna explain it. Like someone who comes into like a conversation with a lot of energy. These kids nowadays
Angry.
like, you came in hot.
Yeah. No, you're right. Whoops. Come here, eraser. Okay. So energy. Energetic.
Or
I heard
angry,
angry, right?
Angry, yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Draw. Still got my eraser on. Angry. All right. Anything else?
I think of hot flashes, only because I'm going through menopause.
Yes.
It's really great. Y'all should
Woohoo!
look forward to it.
Really, Courtney? I was about to say, listen, I'm going through the same, and I feel like, whoo,
It's
oh my
terrible.
God.
Especially
I was
with this heat
excited.
and humidity, girl.
Listen, I was
Yeah,
You can
humidity.
excited.
find me
to
in
go
the
through this.
freezer aisle, okay?
I was so excited
Mhm.
to go through this until I started getting these hot flashes. I don't like them at all. Like, oh my God. No. Oh,
Like, yay, you don't get a period, but dang, this, I don't like summer.
no.
See, oh boy, yikes. I'm not there yet, but I love summer. So That
Yeah,
might
and
change.
it's not bad, but when you have them, it's just like, oh my gosh.
They're
yay, I
ridiculous.
can't wait.
They're
Thanks, ladies.
ridiculous. I
The
feel like I'm
last
gonna.
one that I threw down there was just stolen. You
Stolen.
know, I live in Manchester, so everyone's locking their car doors every night because there are a lot of hot cars going on here. All right. Sounds good. So again, languages have, or rather, words may have different meaning because it has to do with that context. Whoops, we went backwards there. All right. These were some of the other things for sick, and I just want to make sure that we got them all. So affected by physical or mental illness was one of them. Let's see. It's not going to let me erase and click at the same time. Feeling nauseous. Oh, we forgot about that. Yeah. Either wanting to vomit, I'm going to be sick, or in some countries they say, oh, he sicked all over the place, or the baby sicked up all over me, right? They use it as a verb in that case. Disappointed, I'm just sick with your behavior, right? That sort of thing. Intensely annoyed, I am sick and tired of these damn hot flashes, right? Let's see, what else we got? Having something unpleasant and excellent. And then what other words? We just did that. All right. So now the next piece of this, as we're talking about language, we said that it is symbolic, but we also have to talk about how language is complex and it has rules to it. I've given you a big hint there about how language is complex. What rules can you think of when you think about language?
Punctuation.
Yep.
I don't know who I'm hearing.
I was gonna say grammar. I think somebody said punctuation, but I was gonna say
Yeah.
grammar.
Yep, absolutely. Both of them are correct. And that's a huge rule, right? I mean, we have whole classes based on grammar and punctuation and the way you say things. Absolutely. Those are your rules right there. I think I've shown you my very own beautiful copy of APA 7. This is my favorite thing ever. This is basically a big book on grammar and rules, right? And it's complex to the point where that's APA 7. There's 7 editions to it. That tells you a lot about it. All right. Next up, language is fluid.
So in other words, punctuation punctuation pretty much define the words when you're using it or how you use the punctuation.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the expression, whoops, hang on. Have you ever heard the expression, let's eat grandma? You ever heard that joke? The way it is written right there, right? Let's eat grandma. Whoops, doesn't want to grow bigger for me. What that means is let's literally eat grandma. Let's take a bite out of grandma. But
how about a comma in there?
Exactly. Let's eat grandma. Like come to dinner, come sit down with us. And that's kind of the classic joke, how commas can be so important. There's that rule-based piece. Good example. All right. Let's see. So language is fluid in the sense that it constantly evolves. What I've given you here are just new words. These are words that, didn't exist, say 10, 15 years ago, but these are words that are all now in the dictionary. Like they've been added to the dictionary as legitimate words. All right. And it seems silly, but these are all new legitimate words. Auto-tune, binge watch. We all do that, right? Bromance, a noob, meh, that's my favorite one. Hater, totes, makes me crazy. I hate that one. And then vlog, online video journal, which is exactly what you guys are doing with your discussion boards. All right.
I
Go ahead,
literally
Courtney.
blew my mind when the word totes was on there. Really? I think it's more effort to say totes than it is totally.
Yep. It's worse when it's followed with like my goats. That I hate. Totes my goats. Oh God. Stupid.
Wow, I just realized that.
It's literally 3 letters.
Yep.
Just add LLY. You have the same amount of letter. Okay. Oh my gosh.
We're getting old, ladies. What can I say?
Oh my God.
But yeah, but this
And I'm
is
not
again,
even old.
I know. But
I'm
it's
35.
fluid. It changes. It constantly changes. And you think about words that, we a couple minutes ago, we were talking about words that have multiple meanings, but in a second, we're going to start looking at words that meant something else before, and now they mean something totally different. All right. Like words, think about words that you would use to say money. What's a different way to say money? We'll go to that in a second, but that is just another example of how the language is fluid and it's constantly changing. All right. What we have here are examples of idioms, and I'm highlighting this slide in particular because when you get to the video questions for this week, it is going to be asking you about idioms. It's a video with a birthday party, and it's one guy's birthday and the other guy gives him a card, and he writes something in the card that is, hey, let loose, have fun, take it easy. That's something just simple like that, but it's completely misunderstood. And so you're going to be answering a question about idiom in that case. So here you are. Here are a list of some different idioms that you have that have special meaning in special context, especially within a particular community. So I'm sure you've heard some of these before. Dime a dozen, beat around the bush, bite the bullet, break a leg. I'll let you read some of the other ones. But these are all examples of idioms that have specific meanings. In particular, they have specific meanings to certain people. A couple of years ago, actually it was longer than that, it must have been like, it was 15 years ago. Cool, I didn't realize it was that long ago. 15 years ago, I was tutoring a young man who had just immigrated from China. And we were like a Sylvan Learning Center, one of those things. And he came in one afternoon, it was just he and me. and we were working together, and it was pouring and pouring and pouring. And I said to him, wow, it's really raining cats and dogs out there. And this poor kid looked like violently ill or scared or something. He's looking at the ceiling. What are you talking about? Cats and dogs? Are they going to get hurt? He was really, really worried that animals were literally falling from the sky. So we had a whole discussion then about what an idiom is. And I realized as I was talking to him, this kid had been in this, the States maybe 6 weeks at that point. So you think about some of these messages that we have here. For us, yeah, they make sense. As long as you speak English fairly well, as long as you've been here for 6 months at the very least, you're going to know a lot of these idioms. And this poor kid had no idea what I was talking about.
You know what mine was?
What's
when
that?
I first came from Haiti, and
Mhm.
my English was good, but it wasn't that good.
Sure.
My stepmother had said to me, "It's time to hit the sack," and I'm looking at her like, what do you mean by that?
What?
Like, so I'm like, wait, you want me to hit the sack? Like, wait. And then my sister started laughing at me. She's like, it's time to go to bed. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So the next slide, I've got this one. And I'm wondering, does anyone have any experience? Oh, Courtney does. Hang on, Courtney. Does anyone know familiar with this one? Bless your hearts. Or anyone not familiar? What would you think it means? If you don't know this one well, what would you think it means? I see a lot of smiles, so I'm guessing you guys do know what it means. Courtney, talk to us. What do you know about bless your heart?
So this one comes straight from my heart because I am from the South, so I know exactly what this means.
I've got people down there too.
It's when you don't want to say something rude. It's basically an insult, actually. It's when somebody says something super silly or whatever, and you just go, or you think somebody's dumb. I don't want to say these words loud because I have little ears, but like dumb or not smart or something like that. And you just go, bless your heart. Like, come on now. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of people don't take it, like, they don't know that it's an insult. Unless you're from the South, they're not going to know that it's an insult.
And you know the difference when somebody actually means
bless your heart, yeah,
and bless your heart. Like, you tried.
You tried.
Yeah,
it's almost a patronizing type of phrase.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely made for an insult.
It is. It is. Let me give you an example. We have a neighbor who lives a couple houses away, and she is from Savannah. She's from Savannah, Georgia, and very, very proud of her background. And I'd say bless her heart because she did pass a year ago, right? So that's like a very kind, loving way to say, oh, we miss her so much, bless her heart, right? There was one afternoon when she was talking to me about a neighbor across the way, and we have some dumb neighbors, just dumb, right? And she'd say, well, their dog got out again, bless their hearts. In that case, it was like, idiots, why does this keep happening? That sort of thing. And then another instance, I had knee surgery and I was outside in the front steps and with a brace from my ankle up to my hip. And she walked by and she goes, bless your heart, what happened? And my first thought was to jump up because why are you saying this to me? But in that case, I've given you just now 3 different contexts. Okay. The first context, I'm saying this person has passed now, so I'm memorializing her. The second context, she's talking about the idiots across the street. The third context, you're saying, you poor baby, what happened that you've got this huge brace on? And unless you are intimately familiar with people from the South or you've been there yourself, it's completely confusing. It's completely mind numbing. You need to have that context. You need to really understand it. Has anyone been said bless your heart to you before? Have you ever gotten that?
I've said it to people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, it's not nice.
My sister's mother-in-law is a Southern Texan through and through. And when I lived in Texas, that woman is no joke. And like I've lived in Connecticut for a while, and freaking I went from Connecticut and I moved to Texas, and she uses the word Yankee all the time. I said, I am not. Like, I was born and raised in Florida. I just happened to live in Connecticut before I moved to Texas. Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not. Well, you've lived there long enough. Okay.
Yeah, you're still a Yankee. You've been
Still a Yankee.
I was like,
Bless your
okay.
heart.
Yeah.
All right.
Last semester I had someone that was in class. No question. I feel no questions are stupid. No questions are stupid. No questions are stupid. But actually, the professor said it, and I think I was the only one that understood what she meant,
Oh,
because
no.
she is from the South. Like and when she said it, because she answered the question over and over again. Like, we all understood. She answered the question over and over again. And then the professor was like, honey, bless your heart. I was like, I put the thing and I just started laughing. But she meant that, like, how many times are you going to ask the same question over and over again and get the same answer over and over?
Yep.
What is it that I need to make clear? At a point in time, I wanted to put in the chat, which word did you not get? But I was like, ooh, Regina, no, stop, don't do that. But yeah, she just kept on asking,
Sure.
repeating
That's
the same
awesome.
question. And I'm just like,
So if someone says this to you, you stop and you go, wait a minute. It's okay to think about it. It's funny. All right. This is what I was talking about before, where the language is contextual. We've talked about it a couple different ways already, or we've mentioned a couple different ways already, especially that contextual piece, but we do use language differently in different situations. And the example I want to give you, first of all, is a euphemism. Okay. So again, this word between idiom and this word euphemism, these are words that are going to come up in the video assignment this week. So a euphemism is a word or a phrase used to soften the impact of language. All right, let me give you an example. You're looking at a picture of a puppy dog there. What are some euphemisms for dead? I'll give you an example. I've got a 3-year-old, right? She's not quite yet at the age where I can explain to her what the word dead means or what die means. So what might you say instead?
They went to heaven.
Yep. What else?
Or they passed away.
Mm-hmm.
They went night-night forever.
Yep. We often say lives with baby Jesus now. It works. It doesn't have to be a 3-year-old. Just think about like other expressions you've heard, maybe in church.
They crossed the rainbow bridge or
Yep.
whatever, whatnot.
That one in particular has to do with animals. Say it again, Ember.
6 feet under.
Yep. What else?
bite the bullet. No, it was just on the list. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, bite the bullet.
I don't know. I would use that as like to take action. That's how I would see, or to just deal with it, is to bite the bullet. I don't know. That's how I know it. And again, it's contextual. And if the previous slide, bless your heart, has anything to do with it, it also can be regional. So I grew up north of here, so I don't know. What else?
I don't know. I think that's it.
Went to a better place.
Yep. Absolutely. Passed on. Right? All right, so here's what I'm going to ask you to do. We're going to try something because we haven't done this yet. Whoops. I am going to put you into small groups. Okay, there are 6 of you. So I'm going to put you into groups 2, 2, and 2. And what I'm going to ask you to do is pick another word. And I'm going to give you like 5 minutes because it shouldn't take too long, but pick another word and come up with some euphemisms for it. All right, so the example I gave you is dead, but other examples could be money or crazy or sex, I would start with something that is like a state of being, right? Like someone can be dead. And what I'm going to have you do is just take a few minutes and come up with other euphemisms that you might use for that particular term. Make sense? Everyone got it? All right, so what I'm going to do, we haven't tried this yet, and this is kind of an easy way to try going into separate rooms. So what I'm going to do is put you into separate rooms randomly. So it's going to be you and one other person. Take a minute, say hi, get your bearings, and then give me a list. Pick a word, and then come up with some euphemisms for it, and then we'll come back and share them in a little bit. Make sense? All right. And this is important because then later on we'll have the opportunity to practice using these rooms in another instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating breakout rooms. I am creating 3 breakout rooms, and I'm able to jump in and visit you for a second or two. And you're also going to see a timer up at the top. All right, so I've got 3 rooms, 2 participants per room. It's going to prompt you to join a room in just a second. I will see you in a few minutes. Good luck. Okay, so you should be able to join now. Hey, Marzina, can you hear me?
Professor,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So
Okay, I can
and
barely
here-
hear you. I am on my phone. I am at my son's football practice.
okay.
I see we are, I just realized, I was like, I'm supposed to be in class. Oh my God. Like, so, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You
I
joined at
was
the
busy here
perfect time.
panicking. It's just like second week of practice. So I'm like panic mode.
Sure.
It says we're in breakout rooms. We're in breakout rooms?
Yes, you joined at the perfect time. You really did. Yeah, you joined at the perfect time. There we go. Now you can see me.
I didn't hear you.
What I
Say
said
that again. I'm
was,
sorry, Professor.
yeah, you've joined us at the perfect time.
Okay.
Your timing is good.
Okay. So what are we in breakout rooms for? What are we doing?
We were coming up with euphemisms. So the example was, and I'm not going to put you in the breakout room right now. You can just like get your bearings.
Okay.
But the example was,
Okay.
given the word dead, what are some different words that you can think of to say dead without actually using the word? Like passed over, passed on, gone to a better place.
Gone
rest
up
in
to
peace.
yonder.
Yep, you got it.
Seen
You
the
got
light. Okay. Got it.
So I'm just giving
Okay.
people like 5 minutes. They've been in there
Okay.
for 2 or 3 already. So if you sit tight, get your bearings, and
Okay.
we'll all be back in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I was like totally sitting here. I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm supposed to be doing something. And then I seen a lady open up her book. She's like sitting on the other bleachers. I don't know if you can see her. She's like sitting on the other bleachers, and she has a book. And I'm like, class, I'm supposed to be in class. Oh my God. So I like jetted to the car to go get my phone. And I'm like, I hope it's enough charge. And I'm like, looking, I'm like, okay, I have just enough, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
I'm
funny.
totally here now. This is
That's
crazy.
funny. Well, I'm actually gonna run and get a snack really quick.
Oh, go do what you need to do, girl.
But I'll be back
I'm
in
about
less
to
than
bring
2
you back.
minutes. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Good
Grab
timing,
me some
seriously, good
snacks
timing.
too. Okay.
I can't have a conversation.
Hey, how we doing? Oops.
Good.
All right. Are you
Um,
about ready to get back in there?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. What word did you do? Just really curious.
We did crazy.
Great. All right. I will bring you back in about a minute. Okay.
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 How do I get out of here now? This is also for me to join. All right. I'll be back.
Right.
Hi. How we doing?
Good.
What word did you do?
We've got so far, like, is it just a single word you want or just like a little phrase that
Whatever
can be
works.
used? Because we've got nailed it, we've got bun in the oven, we've got snake, lose your
Okay.
lunch. Or is that like what you're kind of
Those
going
are,
for?
yes, they're all euphemisms. What
Okay.
I was thinking was start with like pregnant and then come up with different words for pregnant.
Oh, okay.
But your list is good too. So either stick with that or.
Well, yeah, that was the word bun in the oven. That
Uh-huh.
that pregnant, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what other words mean pregnant?
Preggers, which
Knocked
drives
up.
me nuts.
Knocked
Prego.
up,
Prego drives me
Prego,
nuts because then it just
bun
wants
in the oven.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna, this is gonna be the word we're gonna use. 'Cause I
Okay.
like this word.
We're gonna,
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna
If it's
check
okay,
in.
if it's okay with my partner.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine.
Like, I don't like the word Prego because then it makes me want sauce, which makes me want pasta.
All right, I'm
Don't
gonna
do
check
that
in with
because
the
I
other
haven't eaten
groups,
yet.
but I will
Okay.
see you shortly.
Cool.
All right, I gotta figure out how to get out of here. There we go. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Doing okay?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
what word did you use?
Handicap.
Yep. Handicap.
No kidding. Ooh, this will be an interesting one too. All right, I have one group that's still working, so I'm gonna give you like another minute or so, and then I'll bring you back. All right?
Okay.
So I will see you very shortly.
Okay.
How do I leave you? Oh. All right, ignore me. I'm not here. You don't see me.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of any phrase.
Yeah, all of them are like kind of negative.
Yeah.
But she said it was such a good one, so now we have to have good ideas.
Right.
Disabled, unable to walk, need assistance, legs are tired. If they're blind, can't see.
Mhm.
Can I just say one thing really quick? Disabled is good. I would say that you should preface it by acknowledging that some of these words are offensive.
Okay.
Because quite
That's
honestly,
what we
not
were
that-
worried about.
that exactly, and not that I'm proud of this either, but the reality is people are going to know more offensive words, especially about the disabled community, than they
Yeah.
are positive words. So as long as you say, look, we came up with this list, but we realize a lot of them are negative, I think you're fine. All right.
Okay.
And quite honestly, it relates directly back to this week's discussion board too. So you're in good shape.
Okay.
All right, I will leave you. See you later.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so in that case, I could think of a lot of stuff now.
For negative? Okay. I mean, we could put a couple.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Let's see. Okay. Boop. Do I have everybody? Nope, we still have 26 seconds. Okay. All right. I wonder. Yep, I can do whiteboard. We'll do that. Excuse me. So we've got some words. Oh, yellow. That's funny. Do I have everybody back?
Yes, ma'am.
Present
Cool.
and accounted for.
Awesome. So I know breakout rooms are a little bit awkward, but they are super helpful. So these are things that I would like to be able to try again in the future. I'm not sure that you can read what I wrote here. I wrote crazy. I wrote pregnant. ANT, and then I wrote handicap. All right. Is there a group that wants to go first?
I don't mind going first if Arlene.
I was about to say, go ahead.
Girl, you my girl.
You guys had
Stop
pregnant,
that.
right?
Yes, we had pregnant. We came up with alternative sayings of bun in the oven, expecting. Yes, everyone has blippy. Calm down.
We're not into that one.
Prego, preggers. It's actually really good. I like blippy a lot. Knocked up.
What else, ladies? What else do you know? Shout them out.
Baby mama.
Baby mama. Okay.
You can say you're just having a baby.
Yeah. I was thinking expecting.
Yep, I said
Yep,
that.
that's one of the one we had as well.
Cool. What else?
She's hatching an egg.
Hatching an egg, right?
The last time I
Related.
was pregnant, I worked at Napa over in Willimantic, and I got asked 3 times in one day an expression I have never heard. When are you capping that thing out? What? Like, I understand I am a mammal, but come on. Like, I am not that big.
Willimantic.
I know. And I didn't
Willamette.
want to stereotype, but I was like,
You're in cow
really,
country.
people?
Nope, you're in cow country.
Like,
Ellington maybe more so, but yeah. My sister, bless her heart, likes to say pooping out a baby, which is really charming. Yeah, having a baby, hatching,
dropping that load.
Yeah. All right. And if you think again about children, you know, you might say something like, for years we told my little sister that we bought the baby at the grocery store, right? Or back in the 80s, Cabbage Patch Kids were really popular. So you might say that you picked a baby out of the Cabbage Patch, or the stork is going to come visit, something like that. Good one. All right. I've got crazy. I've got handicap. Who wants to go next? That's an A.
We can go next.
Go for it.
So we came up with cuckoo, something's off, ill, unwell, not bright, missing a screw, bonkers.
Awesome. What else?
Isn't that funny, Courtney? We were just talking about that.
You had a few, right?
All the ducks are not quacking.
Oh my God, I was about to say I miss her. There she go popping up.
Some of them are barking.
Wait, Courtney, what did we say when I said stupid? What did we say? What was one of the words we used?
Stupid's another good one.
Not too bright, not the sharpest tool in the shed, and one fry short of a Happy Meal.
I like that one.
That right, Court. I like that one.
I like fries. What do you want?
That's a good one. Other ones, mental, loco. What else could you say? Ducks not in a row. I heard someone say chasing squirrels might be another one.
All right. Got a helmet on their head with toothbrush in their mouth with no toothpaste.
Like in the windows of the bus. Yep. There's a lot of them. All right. How about handicap? This is the last one we did.
Me.
We kind of
That sound about accurate.
Go ahead,
we
Jasmine.
made a comparison. So, because we know that some of the words can be like offensive, so we made it as if we're talking to adults our age, and then we made a comparison as if we're talking to one of our kids.
Okay,
So
cool.
Like, if we're talking to someone our age and describing well, not necessarily us, but we hear people use these terms. They can say they're retarded or crippled. And then when describing it as like to a kid, you'll say, if you see somebody in a wheelchair, you'll be like, they're unable to walk because their legs are tired and they're unable to walk because they might need assistance.
Sure.
Trying to make it like a positive in a way.
Absolutely. What other ones do you have? Let's emphasize the positive right now. What other ones can you think of?
Special assistant.
So
Assistance, yep.
Yeah.
Physically
So
challenged.
I tell people, because my son's in a wheelchair, so I tell people that he's a superhero and he can't tell you his real identity.
I love that.
I love it. Oh my God.
That's great.
So like when he was a baby, like when he was younger, I used to be like, Isaiah, don't get up. Don't get up. You don't want to tell these people.
That's so cute. My sister-in-law is an amputee, so we say that she's a bionic. That's what we'll tell everyone. Or anyone who's got like my dad has 2 brand new hips in the past 6 months. So same thing, we'll say, well, you're bionic now. You've got the superhero. Cool. Very cool. This is a tough one. Handicap's a tough one because
physically challenged.
Physically challenged. Yep, absolutely. It could be, excuse me, it can be quite negative. And as we talk about these words, these euphemisms, a lot of them are negative. Having a baby. I'm sorry, Courtney, that one's so bad. That's a pretty negative, a pretty offensive one. But again, the different ways of saying things, different ways of broaching the topic, and it's going to be contextual. You know, as we said before, sometimes it is exactly that. Sometimes it is a euphemism that you're using because you're trying to protect other people. Sometimes it's a euphemism that you're using because you're trying to be funny or clever. And sometimes you're talking to a little kid, and we need to be careful about what you're saying in that instance. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next, whoops, what did I do? The last part of this is the fact that language is very, very complex. All right, so this is a cool video I found. Actually, I found it in 2019, not 2020. Sorry to scare you and trigger you with that 2020 there. But the question is, how far back in time could you go and still understand English? Because language has evolved and language has changed. So does anyone want to take a guess? How far back in time do you think you could go and still understand English?
Far.
Super far.
Give me a year.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, yeah. 'Cause the only
I was going to say at least 1920s. Within the
1860.
within 100
860.
years.
I said 1860s.
BCs.
Someone said BCs. Any other guesses? I've got 1920, 1860, BC. anything else?
1950?
What was it?
1950?
After Shakespeare.
After Shakespeare?
It's going to be about 1500.
Okay.
I think he died in 1508.
And it's weird too, because it's not like, I mean, we understand the language. So you could say, oh, the time is, but they could say the clock reads. You know what I mean? So it's all about.
I forgot
Absolutely.
about that.
Analyzing Shakespeare's work in English was terrible. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Who said that? Amber?
He's not my favorite. All right, I'm going to play this. Let me know immediately if you can't hear it. I should have it set up so you can hear the sound okay. All right, we'll see how close you are. And it's thinking.
If you had a time machine,
You
how
hear
far
it?
back could you go and still understand English? In the 19th and 18th centuries, you'd probably still be okay. This is from the book Robinson Crusoe in 1719.
I, poor miserable Robinson Crusoe, came on shore on this dismal, unfortunate island, which I called the Island of Despair.
That's fairly easy to understand, but you might struggle with slang like battyfang and kickarapoo. And now, your birthday suit actually is a suit that you wear on your birthday. The 1600s is the time of Shakespeare.
Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately. Harder to follow, but not everyone speaks like that. You would hear plenty of words you didn't understand, though. The bigger problem for you now is the pronunciation. The sound of the vowels has changed, and the accent is becoming much harder to understand. For example, T is pronounced tay, and gone is pronounced gone. In the 1500s, people essentially speak like the Bible.
Now therefore, thus saith the Lord, thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die.
There are also hundreds of words that didn't mean a thing to you. Before about 1400, you'd hear Middle English, and you would hardly understand anything, written or spoken.
Juan dat April, with his sure sorter, the drocht of March had perset to the rotor, and bathed every vein and switchly core of which vertun gendrat his the floor.
If you went all the way back to 1000 AD, you'd hear Old English.
Fader ore, thuthe ton heavenum, sie thin nama je halgud, tobe kume thin riche, je worde thin willo, on earthon swa on heavenum.
Good luck explaining that you need 1.21 gigawatts to get home.
Whoops. All right. So am I muted? No, I'm not. Good. So there you go. We were off. Sorry, ladies, we were way off there. About 1400 is where we would stop being able to understand very much. All right. Let's see. Let me make sure you can see my screen. There we go. All right. So as much as we don't necessarily love Shakespeare, we can still pretty much understand him. The other example there that they gave you was Chaucer, the Canterbury Tales, and that's probably a little bit harder. And another example is Beowulf. If you ever suffered through that one in high school, same thing. These are going to be more ancient languages. All right, what we're going to do is switch gears a little bit and talk about how, you know what, I hold that thought. I'm going to stop actually. I don't want to get into logos, pathos, and ethos right now because it's long and we have a lot of stuff to talk about with the midterm instead. So we can come back to that. Yep, we can come back to that another time. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.